A great exercise that I learned to do when I was a young lyricist, learning how to write tighter lyrics, is a really clever one. Basically, you look at the title of your song, and then you go through each line of the song. You go back to the first line of the verse, and you read the first line, and then you read the hook line after that, and you see if it supports it. So, for example, Diane Warren does this all the time. And she probably just does it naturally without thinking about it, but this is why her songs work. One of her big songs is I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I think the first line in I Don't Want to Miss a Thing says, I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. I don't want to miss a thing. It completely supports it, and it makes sense. The next line is watch you smile while you are sleeping. I don't want to miss a thing. It continues to support it. And as you go through each line, you realize that every line, you could follow it up with that chorus hook, and it'll make sense. And that's how you know you have a really tight song, and something that didn't have like 3 ideas in it, or something that didn't get off the point or get off the subject. And I think that's the problem with me as a young songwriter for sure. I'd have all of these thoughts that I'd want to say in one song, and I forgot you could write like 5 different songs all about the same subject. So that's an exercise that really helped me. Sometimes it doesn't work. There are story songs, for instance, that it wouldn't work with. But for the most part, especially a good pop song, that'll work. You know, a lot of people come to me and say that lyrics is the hardest part for them in a song, and they get stuck and they get blocked, and there's a lot of reasons that that happens. But there's an exercise that I created a while back while I was coaching. It's something that I normally do in my songwriting process. I just don't write it out anymore. It just naturally comes to me. So one of the first things that you ask yourself is, what do I want to write about? What do I care about the most to talk about today? Now that seems pretty obvious, but the truth is that some of us will have an idea to write about something, but we really don't know that much about it. Figuring out what you want to say and what you care about the most, what could you commit to for the length of a song, is the most important step. The second step is to write down, what do you know about this subject? Now, I would just write it down in bullet points in a journal or on a piece of paper of just all the things you know and all the things you want to talk about in this subject. I think this little girl, she wanted to write about friends. I said, well, what do you know about friends? She said, friends should be your friends no matter what. Friends betray you in the back when you're not looking. Friends can be really hurtful. You know, and she was obviously writing a very personal experience that she was going through at the time. So I just had her write everything that she knew. The third step in the exercise is I asked her, who do you want to talk to in the song? Do you want to talk to a certain friend, like you and me? Or do you want to talk to friends in general, you know, they and us? Do you want to talk about other friends and not yourself, he and she? So this establishes the point of view of your song. This is really essential, and a mistake that a lot of young songwriters make is they keep changing the point of view all through their song. So then the fourth question that you want to ask yourself is, after you've asked yourself, what do you know about this subject? You want to ask, what do they know, the people that you're talking to? What do you think they know? And she said, well, I think they know that they hurt me, but they pretend they don't know. You know, she said, I think that they know that I'm a really good person and that they really want to be my friend, but peer pressure is creating them not to be. The fifth question that you ask yourself is, how do you feel? She said, well, I feel sad. I feel really hurt. And I said, well, why do you feel that way? So even just the emotions aren't enough. You know, you want to expand on that. She said, I feel really sad because I just feel like I'm a really good friend to them, and I feel like they don't notice me, or I feel like they're going through a lot in their life, and I really want to be there for them, but they're not letting me. So then we got all kinds of juicy stuff in how she feels about friends that betray her. And then we go to question number 6, which is, how do you think they feel? And you know, this little girl, she was so insightful. She said, I think that they feel scared because they're being mean to me and it doesn't feel good. You know, I think that they're hiding. I think that they're angry, you know, and so she was able to expand on that. Question number 7 in the exercise is, what do you want to know about this subject? And she said, I want to know that if I'm a good friend, that someone will be a good friend to me back. I want to know that I'm a likable person. You know, I want to know if it'll be this way forever. And just the way that she was speaking to me, I was already getting song lines. So that's why this is such a powerful exercise. The next question is, what do you want them to know? She said, I want them to know that no matter how they treat me, I'm still going to be there for them no matter what. You know, and now I'm feeling like, okay, this is like the meaning of her song. This is going to be the most important part of her song and probably the hook. And then the last question that you ask yourself is, what is your intention with this song? What is the most important thing about this song that made you have to write it? And she said, you know, I just want to tell them that friends are friends no matter what, and we should all be there for each other because it's a hard world. And so after we did that whole exercise and she filled that all in, then what we did is I said, okay, we probably start with, what is your intention of this song? What's the most important thing for you to say in this? That became her chorus. Everything she wrote in there filled in her chorus. And I swear, like within 1 minute, she had the chorus written. And then I said, okay, in the first verse, do you want to talk about how you feel or how they feel? Or do you want to talk about what you know or what you think they know? And she'd go, I want to talk about how I feel. I said, great, start there. So we would take everything she wrote in that section and fill in the first verse. When we got to the second verse, I said, okay, now which one do you want to talk about? She said, now I want to talk about how I think they feel. Great, we'll do that. You know, putting it in sections like this really helps, because as a beginning songwriter, you have all these ideas and we tend to just like blurt them out on a page and none of them really have a meaning. Or one of the things that we do is we say the same thing over and over and over and over and over, just different words to explain it. And you know, there's just no arc, there's no peaks and valleys. We're not really getting anywhere, we're just saying the same thing. What this exercise does is it helps you to think from every angle, you know, then situate those in your song to where they give the listener a whole experience.